All right, today I'm going to cover pages 73 to 84. Remember that we are in Crooks's room in his bunk, which is out in the stable, and Lenny has found his way into the room. And Crooks just sort of went off on him a little bit, saying that maybe George wasn't going to come back and what would he do. Lenny got really, really upset by this. And Crooks kind of calmed him down. So that's where we're starting. And Crooks says something interesting. He says, suppose you didn't have nobody. Suppose you couldn't go into the bunkhouse and play rummy because you were black. How would you like that? A guy goes nuts if he ain't got nobody. It'll make no difference who the guy is as long as he's with you, I tell you. I tell you, a guy gets too lonely and gets sick. So he's letting us know just how lonely he is. He's lonely because he's the only black person on this ranch. Remember Curly's wife? She's lonely because she's the only woman on the ranch. Many of the men on the ranch are lonely because that's how they travel. Okay? So he's saying it doesn't matter who you're talking to, as long as you can talk to somebody, it'll be good. And he says, I was just talking about myself. You know, sometimes a man gets to thinking, he's got nothing to tell him what's so and what ain't so. So he's talking about being lonely and how sometimes when we're lonely and we start thinking and thinking, we need someone else there to set us straight. And he's got nobody to do that. And that also kind of hurts him and makes him feel bad. Crooks is remembering when he was little, he used to play with all the kids in the area, black and white. His father didn't like it too much, but he did. And he just had a pretty good childhood, I think. And he just wound up at this ranch doing this job. He's very lonely because as you get older, that innocence wears away and no longer can he hang out with everybody else. Lenny starts talking about their dream, of course, their dream of the house and the rabbits, and the berry patch and everything. And Crooks is like, man, you're crazy. It's never going to happen. Hundreds of guys have come in here with that same dream in their head, and they never get it. Nobody ever gets any land. Nobody ever gets what they want, right? Just then they hear someone come in. And who is it? Well, it's Candy. So now Lenny has told about the ranch and the rabbits and everything, but Crooks didn't really pay too much attention to that. Now here comes Candy. He's going to spill the beans too. He wasn't supposed to say anything, but he does. Candy comes in. He's a little nervous about entering Crooks's room because he knows that there's that line that they're not supposed to cross, but he goes in because Crooks invites him. And it's interesting here. It says, it was difficult for Crooks to conceal his pleasure with anger. So he's trying to act like he's irritated that everybody's in there, but really he's happy everyone's in there because he never gets to congregate with people. He never gets to hang out with others. And here they are coming to him. So this is a really nice moment for him, but he's got to kind of still pretend like, this isn't really what I want. So interesting because Crooks just shared with us how lonely it is being by yourself and never having anyone to talk to. Candy comes in and says, oh, it must be nice to have a room all to yourself. Then Crooks is a little sarcastic with us. He's like, yeah, sure, and a manure pile under the window. Because remember, although he has a place all to himself, he is also in the horse stables, right? So it's probably pretty smelly. I don't know if you've ever been in a horse stable before. But they're talking about making this money, about earning the money and getting the place. And Crooks is listening. He's like, yeah, well, where's George now? Right? You guys think you have the money saved up, but where's George now? He's down at that whorehouse. He is spending all the money. It's gone. It's going to be gone. You're not going to get this dream. He's like, people come and go with this dream. And he's like, no, he's not going to do that. He's going to be back. We are going to do it. Don't make any mistake about that. And George doesn't have the money in town because I've got the money. That money is in the bank. And me, Lenny, George, we're going to do this. And so Crooks is listening. He's like, all right, so maybe they are going to do it. You know what? I like that because I'm lonely and I don't want to be by myself. I wonder if, so he says, if you guys would want a hand to work for nothing, just keep. Well, I'd come and lend a hand, He's like, I'll come work on the ranch for free. You just let me live there. So he's trying to join in as well. Sounds like a good idea for a few minutes. And then who comes in? But Lonely Curly's wife, she comes in. And boy, they try to everything they can to get her out of there because Curly and Candy know that It's nothing but trouble if she's in there. She needs to go away because if Curly does come back, bad things are going to happen. None of these guys are safe, right? Crooks isn't safe because he's black. Lenny and Candy aren't safe because they're employees. So she could say whatever she wants about them. They want her to go away. And she lets us know that she is lonely. She's like, funny thing, if I catch one of you alone, then we get along just fine. Like, you'll talk, you'll have a conversation. But if I'm ever around more than one guy at once, you guys suddenly won't talk. Keep your mouth shut, your eyes down. You're all scared somebody's going to tell something on you, right? She says, don't you think I'd like to talk to somebody every once in a while? Think I like to stick in that house all the time? Right? She is lonely. She is letting us know that she is lonely as well. And they're like, yeah, well, you got your husband. Well, she points out that Curly's really no prize, right? All he does is spend all of his time saying what he's going to do to guys he don't like, and he doesn't like anybody, so all he does is talk about who he's going to beat up. And that doesn't make her happy, right? Because she's not super happy here. And finally, she goes, you know what? What happened to Curly's hand? You guys tell me, what happened to Curly's hand? And they're like, oh, it got caught in a machine, And she's like, okay, sure. I know what really happened was he opened his mouth to the wrong person. I know that that's what happened. But you guys keep it up with your story that he got it caught in a machine, right? And she's mad. She's like, it's Saturday night. Look at me standing here in a horse stable talking to a bunch of bindle stiffs. Ain't nobody else to talk to, right? So she's kind of angry. Even her husband is out, and she knows he's gone somewhere. She doesn't know where. Then they mention the dream to her, right? So now we've mentioned the dream to Crooks, who wasn't supposed to hear it, and we're mentioning it to Curly's wife, who would probably also enjoy something like this, but she's like, baloney. I think too many of you guys, if you had 2 bits in the world, why, you'd be getting 2 shots of corn with it stuck in the bottom of the glass. I know you guys. Meaning, the second you had money in your pocket, you'd be out spending it on alcohol. Nobody's ever going to get what they wanted here. So she looks at them. She's telling them, your dreams are trash. It's not going to happen. She's looking, and she notices that Lenny's got a whole bunch of bruises on his face. Where'd you get them bruises from? She says to him. And he's like, oh, he got his hand caught in a machine. She says, okay, machine. I'll talk to you later. I like machines. Okay, first, what literary device is that? Think about it. She is calling Lenny a machine. How does she know that Lenny is the machine they speak of? Curly's hand got caught in a machine. What does she now know? How does she know it? What literary device is being used here? Very important. So they continue to tell her to go away because they're afraid that now she's going to start some trouble, right? And they're telling him, we told you we don't want you here. We want you to go. We need you to go now. And she says, well, you keep your place. I can get you strung up so easy. It's not even funny. She's talking to Crooks. She's talking to him just like Crooks talked to Lenny earlier, right? Being a bully, picking on him. Why is she doing that? It gives her the sense of power, right? She's calling him out because he's black. She's calling him out saying, I could get you in trouble in no time at all. I could get you killed. All I have to do is say, you touched me, or you looked at me the wrong way. And he knows it's true. And so he shuts up real quick and kind of sulks to the back. All of them do. All of them do. But this is her just trying to get some power. She's just being mean, nasty. She has power for a moment. For a moment, she stood over him, right? She has that power just for a minute. And she's like, I could frame you. Well, we would tell on you for framing. She says, nobody would listen to you. Candy knows. He's like, yeah, you're right. No one would listen to us. No one would listen to us. They'll listen to you first. So you do have the power here. But ultimately, she leaves. She walks away. She does before she leaves. She turns to Lenny and says, I'm glad you bust up Curly a little bit. He's got it coming to him. So she 100% knows that it was Lenny. She's actually kind of glad about it because she knows her husband's kind of a jerk. This is interesting. So she's gone. Remember, Crooks has been kind of hovered back on the ground, waiting, just keeping his mouth shut and his eyes down. And it says Crooks seemed to come slowly out of the layers of protection he had put on. So what layers of protection did he put on? He shut down. He took away his manliness. He took away his voice. All of this stuff was gone when she was in the room because she could hurt him. Now he's kind of coming back. He's like, is that the truth you said about those guys coming back? He's sort of coming back. And I don't know if the guys have come back or not, but he didn't hear them come back. Candy says they did. He's like, all right, well, I want you guys to go now because a colored man's got to have some rights even if he doesn't like them. So what are the rights he's talking about? Well, the right to his own room, his space. He wants them to leave now. It's the only thing he has. This is Cook's only piece of power is the control over his room. So he's sending them out. Candy kind of stands up for him. She's like, she shouldn't have said that to you. He's like, it wasn't nothing. You came in, you made me forget what's true, but now I know what's true. You know what I said before about joining your little farm? Forget it. Forget it. Why does he say that? Because I was just fooling. I wouldn't want to go to no place like that. Of course he would. Why does he take it back? He takes it back because he got a little dose of reality there. Reality is that for a black man during this time, he wouldn't be able to have that place. He wouldn't be able to do what he wanted to do because someone always would be around the corner just trying to mess it up, just like she did. Okay?